Once upon a time, there was a woman named Mabel Coulter who grew up on her family's farm in Kansas. She rode horses, herded cattle, and played the violin. But mostly, she dreamed of being a missionary because she wanted to tell people about Jesus. In fact, since there weren't many other kids on the farm, little Mabel often climbed high into the trees so she could teach Bible stories to the weeds below. Eventually, Mabel went to college and became a successful teacher and principal in California. She also fulfilled her childhood dream when she became a missionary teacher in China. But in 1936, when Mabel was almost 50 years old and working as the Dean of Women at the Bible Institute of Los Angeles, God whispered a unique vision for a new school into her mind. The idea of a Christian elementary and secondary school stirred her imagination and awakened her faith. But to everyone else, it seemed impossible. The United States was in the middle of the Great Depression after all. Most parents didn't have extra money to send their children to a private school. One man even told her that only a fool, or a woman, would undertake anything like this. But Mabel listened to God and obeyed him. So with no money, no classroom, no teachers, and the promise of just one student, she opened the front door of a borrowed living room and declared the grand opening of Coulter Academy. And God was faithful. He provided teachers, funding, property, and vision year after year. Students diligently studied the Bible in addition to learning about math, science, and English. And year after year, the school grew and grew and grew. In fact, Coulter Academy flourished in Los Angeles for 30 years. And the Lord watched with joy as students began each day reciting Proverbs 9:10 together. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding.
One day, when Mabel's work was finished and the Coulter Academy era was complete, when everyone thought the story was over, God spoke a fresh word with a new invitation. But this time, he led the school to a sprawling property of rolling hills and empty ranch fields in the middle of Temecula. The newly renamed Linfield School started in 1973 with just 13 students in grades 9 through 11. They attended many of their classes in what is now the administration building, and many of them were residents on the property, living in a dormitory building during the week and commuting back home to LA on the weekends. There were even animals on campus. But at that time, Temecula was in the middle of nowhere. Starting over here seemed improbable, and it took a new boldness for people to even imagine the next chapter. But God was still the author of this story. Linfield was his idea, so, sure enough, he once again helped the school to flourish and grow. Linfield eventually expanded by adding a middle school and elementary school. It enriched its college preparatory curriculum, added athletic programs, constructed new facilities, and developed many of the traditions we treasure today, like Winter Mountain Retreat and the Great Race.
Linfield's story continues today, here, now, with us. Over 80 years after God first spoke his vision to Mabel Coulter, Linfield Christian School is home to a thriving community of dedicated teachers, passionate parents, and 800 remarkable students in transitional kindergarten through 12th grade. A rigorous college prep curriculum well prepares students for life, with 99% of graduates going on to college. Our athletic teams have won countless championships, our fine arts programs have produced hundreds of theatrical productions, films, concerts, and works of art, and our students are boldly living out their faith by serving the community and around the world. But this is not our story. It never has been. It's God's. He is the central character in this epic tale of grandeur, one in which his light pierces the darkness and continuously makes the seemingly impossible possible. But through our faith and our obedience, we get to be a part of it. In both previous generations of the school's history, Linfield's leaders, teachers, and students responded to God's calling with a bold faith that defied cultural and conventional understanding. What if we're the third generation? What is God writing for Linfield Christian School in the first part of the 21st century? What if his vision for Linfield's legacy is above and beyond our imagination? What if he's called Linfield to be a light to the nations? Is that absurd? Absolutely. Just as ridiculous as the birth of Culture Academy in 1936 and the rebirth of the Linfield School 40 years later. And so we wait, expectantly, anticipating what God has in store for this new generation in a third and glorious act. We can't yet see where this faith will lead us, but we know that in His great love, God is writing an amazing story. We are His idea. He's made each and every one of us for this moment, for this time, and for this place. So let's awaken from our slumber. Together we rise and advance boldly as lions to be a light to the nations, because we know God is always with us and because we know how the story ends. For in Christ, there is victory.